Oh, look at that. The intros are back, finally, after, like, I don't even know, 3 weeks or whatever. Anyway, hello, guys. It's Dylan here, and you'll hear Lyssie in this video as well. We're here to talk about wrestling, and that's why this podcast is called Talkin Wrasslin. We're going to talk about wrestling and probably get into some sort of debate, definitely on this episode. Who's the host and who's the co-host? Me. Let's talk wrestling. Hello from the other side, yes.
Oh.
Anyway.
Why do you always start it off like that?
I got to start off somehow. I don't know how to start things off. Anyway, welcome to Talkin Wrasslin. It's me. It's me. It's DDP. No, not really. I'm not that positive.
Is this the vibe we're gonna be giving off this episode? I don't even know what we're talking about.
Okay. So you want the summary of the episode? We're gonna be talking about Raw after Mania, WCW Nitro. I mean Dynamite.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
SmackDown, New Japan Windy City Riot, and the Wrestler of the Week.
We don't have a lot to talk about?
We don't, but the Dynamite thing is probably the main focal point in this episode. That's gonna be a lot.
I'm so excited.
That's gonna be a lot. But Lissy, how was your week?
It was fine, I guess. I got a 3-day weekend this week. We had a tattoo convention going on, kind of close to our area. So the two of our artists were gone, and then on Saturday, the one artist that didn't go, his appointment canceled. So they just closed that whole side because it would have just been me and him, and he didn't have an appointment to come into, and so we just got an extra day off on Saturday, which was nice. And then I got my car fixed today. I've been up since 8 o'clock in the fucking morning. It's currently 5:45 as we're recording this. So hopefully I'm coherent enough.
It's a dinner time episode.
And I have been going through solid brain rot this week, which we'll get into later. But it's been fantastic. Fantastic brain rot. Very happy about it. Very happy with my stance of delusion. Feeling Talulu. Dylan, how was your week?
It was okay. I got my car inspected.
Mm-hmm.
It passed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. I bought a Mid-South Wrestling hoodie.
Mm-hmm.
And I just got a Sparkplug Bob Holly shirt.
Are we talking about the things we bought too?
Well, I guess.
Oh, okay. We can continue with your week.
What did you buy?
I bought not one, but 2 Jack Perry shirts. So I got the Scapegoat one that sold out really fast, which again we'll get into later. And then today he just dropped new designs. So I got another one. He posted it 12 seconds ago on Instagram, and I saw it, and I was like, well, in the next 30 seconds, I guess I'm spending another $35. So here we go. Aside from that, I bought a lot of fancy food for lunch.
Fancy food.
Yeah, I got ramen for lunch, and I'm not talking the cup noodles. I'm talking legit ramen and sushi taco.
Ramen.
Which the sushi taco is basically a glorified onigiri, but nonetheless.
How about you explain what onigiri is to the people that don't know what onigiri is?
Onigiri is a rice ball. That's pretty much what it is. It's typically in the shape of a triangle with seaweed or nori sheets wrapped on it. And it's typically filled with stuff. I think tuna mayo is a very common one. But it's filled with various things. But the sushi taco was nori sheet or seaweed with sushi rice on top of it, and then filling of what would be in a sushi roll on the very tip top of it. So I got a spicy crab sushi taco. So it had spicy crab on the top, some cucumbers and such, and then the rice and the nori. And it was really good. But again, it was basically just a deconstructed onigiri, so I knew I was gonna like it. But yeah, I was really happy about that because it was delicious. I just wish it wasn't as expensive as it was. So maybe we should buy a rice cooker so I can make them myself.
And I watched the first 2 Rockies yesterday.
And I watched a bunch of stuff from New Japan. yesterday and today.
We usually record on Sundays, but now we're recording on a Monday because yesterday was just like a lazy fucking day for us.
What the fuck did we even do yesterday?
What did we do?
I know we went out for a little bit.
I ran up to get new shoes.
Yeah, so this fucker...
early in the morning.
So we have like 2 malls in a... I mean, I'll count the one you went to as 3. But we have like a main mall in our general vicinity. Another mall that's maybe like 20 minutes away. And then the better mall that's like 35, 40-ish minutes away depending on the way you go. And this motherfucker went without me. Didn't decide to wake me up and see if I wanted to go. I just woke up and I was like, Dylan's not here. I assumed he went out for a cigarette, and then I checked my phone. He's like, oh, by the way, I went to the better mall. See you later. And I was like, motherfucker.
I was in and out.
I was so mad.
Like, I went to Zoomies and knew what I pretty much wanted. I was like, I'm getting slip-on Vans because that's literally like best case scenario. And I was in and out. Went in. Hey, I need a size 9.
Oh, no,
and then I was out.
So what I was thinking was we got food on Sunday. So like we went out and got food. What I was thinking was Saturday.
Saturday was a lot of running around because that was the day my car got inspected, and there was just so much we had. Like, what else did we do on Saturday?
Lights. We had to get new lights for the one on Saturday.
Yeah, the light.
Because our lights burnt out, like, which, by the way, for context, we don't have room in our room for, like, a lamp or anything, and we don't have ceiling lights. So we've just had, like, Halloween string lights up since we moved in here. It's just been about, like, what, 3 years now? They
built this apartment so weird that there's no lights.
Yeah, there's no lights in any of these rooms, aside from our kitchen, and that's like 3 little lights. So our lights burnt out in the middle of SmackDown, I think it was.
Yeah.
And they just went out.
It got really bright.
For a couple seconds.
And then it just got burnt out.
Super dark. So we had to do some running around on Saturday to get new lights, which they're extremely fucking bright.
They're really bright.
And it was definitely a stupid call on our part for putting both sets up, but I don't want to deal with taking them down.
They look so nice, though.
It does look really nice.
We did a good job.
Yeah, aside from that part right there that's dangling.
Oh, I gave up there.
Yeah, that's in a weird spot, so we don't have to really worry about that. But yeah, so we got new string lights, and we were out for a while, and we checked like Lowe's and whatnot, and there's somewhere else we checked before Lowe's. I can't remember where it was, but we checked a couple different places.
Michael's.
Yeah, I was getting that. I was like, we went to Five Below, and I was like, why don't we check Michael's? Because sometimes they have like lights and whatnot. And we're walking in, I'm like, there's absolutely no ulterior motive that I have to go into Michael's. We will be so in and out, you won't even know that we went in here. And then cut to like 10 minutes later, and I'm explaining to Dylan the differences between drawing papers.
That was a wild experience.
Because you had no idea.
I learned a lot in the span of 10 minutes.
I showed Dylan how expensive, for any artists that are listening, I showed Dylan how expensive Copic markers are.
Explain what Copic markers are.
Those alcohol-based markers.
To the people that don't know.
They're alcohol-based markers, so they're like illustrative markers. Not like the stingy, cheapy ones that you get when you're a kid and they don't do shit and they dry out super fast. No, these are like good quality, top tier, blendable markers. And they're like the best of the best that you can get. And I was like, hey Dylan, do you want to buy me some markers? And he's like, well, how much are they? And then I showed him and he was like, fuck that. Fuck that. Because what was it? For like the pack of 5, I think I showed you was like $50 or something.
Yeah,
it was like, expensive. No.
It was expensive.
I almost well, I didn't want to say almost convinced my dad. I was joking with my dad today because my car took a really long time to fix today. Like I dropped it off at 8 and we didn't get it till like almost 4 o'clock. And my dad picked me up and I went running around with him. And I was joking with him because we had to go to Lowe's and there was the Michael's nearby. And I was like, he's like, you don't have to go anywhere, right? I'm like, no, unless you want to go buy me some Copic markers or something, you know? And he's like, well, do you need them? Because we could go. And I'm like, Dad, no, it's fine. I really don't need them that bad. It's okay. I really don't. But I would have felt really bad if I just like jokingly convinced my dad to get me fucking Copics.
He was so ready to go.
He was so ready. And I'm like, no, it's fine. It's just, don't worry about it. But yeah, I guess that's kind of our week. And I guess before we continue talking more about it, Dylan, take us into the first topic.
Let's talk about Dark Side of the Ring. It was about a wrestler that no one has ever heard of. Chris Colt.
I love Chris Colt.
He was pretty fucking interesting. I've heard of the name, just never knew everything, but it was every season of Dark Side of the Ring always has like that one episode that you don't know much about.
No idea who the fuck this guy is. Not a clue.
For context, his gimmick is pretty much Alice Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
Which I am so mad I never thought about doing the Alice Cooper eye paint when I wrestled.
I had zero idea who the fuck this guy was. And then like we got probably like 15 minutes into the episode and I was like, Dylan, I love him. I love him so much.
Chris Colt, for context too, is an old territory wrestler.
An insane man.
Insane man.
Insane.
Let's put it this way. He did acid once, a few times, but one time he was wrestling in a cage match, and he was tripping balls on acid, and next thing you know, there's spiders, just coming in to attack him. Not really, but to him, he was seeing spiders, and he jumped out of the cage and ran.
No, he jumped out of the cage and started beating the shit out of the fans.
Yeah, he started beating the shit out of the fans. Yeah, that's what it was.
Insane. I love this man. I found some of his stuff on YouTube and I have to watch it. I was, again, when I went into sitting down and watching some wrestling matches that weren't daily television, I ended up over on New Japan. So because it's been something I've kind of been meaning to do anyway. And then within this past week is something that I need to pick up a little bit more because I'm like, all right, I need to see what's kind of been going on. So, but yeah, no, fucking amazing. I really need to sit down and watch this shit because just from learning about him, like I'm already like this guy's biggest fucking fan.
Yeah?
Dude, he's so cool. Like he was so cool. He was a fucking train wreck.
Yeah.
But like
literally.
I said to Dylan when we were driving home today, I was like, dude, let me love my chaos. Like if there has to be something chaotic in wrestling, and I thrive on it. I thrive on the stupidity. I thrive on the chaos. And this dude just embodied it so much. And I don't even think it was definitely just, it wasn't a gimmick. It was just him.
It was just him, bro.
It was just him. And he was fucking insane. And yeah, that's what I look for in wrestling, is something that's stupid or chaotic.
I have no idea what the next episode is. I'm waiting for the Sandman one. I don't know what this week.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember what they advertised.
I'm gonna try to find it. Talk about. Oh, we can go right into the next thing. Most Wanted Treasures.
Oh yeah.
Because we watched that last night, and it was all WCW stuff.
We thought that they were giving us a fucking dick tease and a cliffhanger.
I was so hyped.
Because at the very end of it, like Lita's looking for Steiner's brother stuff, and they're like, "Oh, let's call Scott," and Scott just didn't show up, and I'm like, "Where the fuck is Scott Steiner?" And then, like, as she's about to leave, he shows up, and it was like, "Ooh, thank goodness," because I thought we were gonna have to go this whole episode without Scott Steiner, and it was very important to see where my hoochies were at.
So going back on Dark Side of the Ring really quick, the next episode is Chris Adams, which is he is a guy that invented the super kick. Yes.
Oh, I get to learn history.
And also, I'm gonna look this up in a second. Oh, he trained Stone Cold Steve Austin. Fun fact. Anyway, his cause of death: ballistic trauma.
What the fuck does that mean?
We're gonna find out.
What's ballistic trauma?
A gunshot wound.
Oh. Well, that's sad. Spoilers.
Okay. Anyway, back to Most Wanted Treasures. But yeah, check out Dark Side of the Ring, Chris Adams this week. I don't know much about him. I just know he invented the super kick, so that's gonna be a fun thing. But Most Wanted Treasures, yes, it was WCW. I like the Most Wanted Treasures at the show because
they're fun. I just don't understand how these fuckers keep giving their shit away.
Money.
But when they don't say sell it. They say, "Oh, I gave it away." Like Hulk Hogan being like, "Yeah, brother, I just gave so much of my shit away." Like, first of all, Terry, I know you didn't. I know you sold it. But like, some of these people just say, like, yeah, I gave it all away over the years of time, and, like, I'm sure, yeah, given to, like, friends and collectors, like, people that you know well and whatnot, but, like, all of it? You've given all of it away?
My favorite's when they're like, can we do an exchange, like WrestleMania tickets?
Yeah, see, that guy, like, that was for the Outsiders singlets, I don't get that, and not on his end, because, like, dude, I mean, he got something out of it that he wanted, so that's cool. What I don't understand is they offered him, like, I don't know, like $8,000 or something for both fucking singlets, and then they're like, all right, how about we give you 2 tickets within the first 5 rows of WrestleMania 40, and I know the price of those fucking tickets, dude. Because I was curious when WrestleMania 40 was coming around, and I looked up the ticket prices, and front row is $10,000 per ticket. And mind you, this is also for both nights. So they're giving away 2 both night tickets that were $10,000 each. They just gave this dude $40,000 worth of something, but they wouldn't give it. They would only give him $8,000 for the singlet. I don't get that.
Me either.
I don't get that. I don't get how that's how that makes any sense. I mean, good for the guy, though. I mean, he got to go to WrestleMania 40, so awesome for him.
My favorite is the people that just straight up go, no, I'm not giving you my shit.
I think it depends. Like, I mean, I would definitely be up for, like, an exchange, depending on who or what it is. I feel like I'd be up for an exchange of something.
Bro,
of,
I'm
like,
not telling Mick
similar
Foley
value.
no. If Mick Foley shows up at my house, I'm not telling Mick Foley. Even Lita.
If they sent Mick Foley to my house, I'd be like, just take whatever. I don't care. But also, a lot of these people that don't want to get rid of their stuff, they never opt for, like, a loan.
Yeah.
Like, there's a few people that have, like, lent their stuff where, like, you could put on display but send it back to me.
Yeah.
I would hands down do a loan. You know? I don't know. But yeah, if Mick Foley ever showed up on my doorstep, I would just be like, yeah, you know what? Everything you want, take it. I don't care.
And they gave us a little teaser for, I think, next week. It's going to be Dusty Rhodes. I don't know what else, but it seems like Dusty Rhodes is going to be a main.
Yeah, I hope Cody's in it.
And Rivals next week, I believe it's Hogan and Macho Man.
Yeah, I think
that'll be a cool one. Anyway, let's get into the wrestling. The Raw after WrestleMania, there's 2 things that stuck out on this episode. Let's talk about Cody Rhodes being the second coming of Jesus, or honestly, at this point, bigger than Jesus, because he's the champion. He came out and he had a really confusing segment with The Rock that left us with so many questions.
He also had to look at that tiny TV.
Yeah.
He had to look at that teeny tiny TV.
The Rock came out, said, "Don't break my heart again," and asked Cody to hold his belt.
and he handed him a little tiny frog.
He handed him something.
I like to believe it was an itty bitty teeny tiny tree frog that he found outside.
I hope it's a lighter and he burnt down his bus.
That would make sense. That would be fun. I don't know what it is. I don't know if we're gonna know what it is, but maybe we'll find out tonight.
What do you think of the rumors of that it might be Cody and Rock at Mania next year?
I mean, that's fine. You know,
it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen eventually.
Like Cody and Rock, like they set themselves up where like this match needs to happen.
I just don't want it to keep being this wishy-washy bloodline thing. Like I want just The Rock.
Yeah.
And Cody.
We'll get more into the we'll get more into the bloodline.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a second. But like I don't want this like back and forth type of whatever. I don't know. I'm glad the storyline's over. I'm glad Cody's champion. Yay, Yahoo. Whoopee. Awesome. But if we're gonna do Rock and Cody, I want Rock and Cody. So.
Yeah. Anyway, the best thing that happened on Raw was it was the Judgment Day versus Awesome Truth, but they needed a third man. And who was that third man, Lissy?
I don't know.
It was John Cena!
Dude, I thought it was a handicap match this entire time.
No!
I didn't see another person.
It was John Cena!
There was only 2 people.
He came out, he did like 2 things, and that was it. R-Truth got to team up with his hero, his childhood hero. Because wrestling matters.
It might as well have just been the Invisible Stand, man. I didn't...
Don't you ever disrespect John Cena like that.
I'm just saying, I couldn't see anyone else.
Shut up. Anyway, John Cena was on Raw.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was fun. We'll go into SmackDown first. To continue the Bloodline saga, because Tama Tonga.
You know what I love?
debuted,
You know what I love?
and the bloodline is falling apart, and Solo's the tribal chief now, and Paul Heyman's phone got broken. Cody Rhodes took over the locker room.
You know what I love?
What?
Is that the amount of people freaking out over Tama showing up
Yeah.
and acting like they know exactly who Tama is when any single time another wrestler from New Japan comes over to AEW.
They're like, who the fuck is this?
I saw someone say that out of Will Ospreay, Okada, and Tama, that Tama was the only one worth signing. And I'm like, what? Like, it is insane, the tribalistic bullshit that just comes out from, like, literally anything. Literally anything.
No, that's just people being dumb.
Insane. Absolutely. Well, I mean, clearly people don't know what they're talking about. But, like, I don't know. I just think that that's fucking hilarious. Which, I mean, cool for Tama. You know, like, he got brought into WWE and gets thrusted into with the, like, essentially what the main event scene was.
They're the Bloodline Wolfpack.
Yeah, like, sure, yeah.
It's Bloodline Hollywood and Bloodline Wolfpack.
But, like, you know, he got put into this group that's been, like, the headlining for all of the fucking shows. So, like, that's really cool for him, and I'm super happy for him for that.
But they set up a few things here. They set up for, like, Roman and the Usos to get back together as baby faces. Jacob Fatu to come in. It's gonna be... Listen. Mark my words.
No,
Mark my words.
Mark my words.
War Games. It will be Roman, the Usos, and a partner that they need, we'll get there in a second, versus The Rock, Solo, Jacob Fatu, and Tama. Who would be the Bloodline 1.0, original Bloodline?
Paul Heyman.
No. The honorary Us. Sami Zayn.
Oh, yeah.
It needs to happen.
I mean, my only worry is I worry about Roman going back to being a babyface.
We'll see what happens.
Like, I'm hoping it's gonna be better than it was. I'm not necessarily against the Usos getting back together and, you know, Roman turning face. I just worry because he's been a heel for so long and he came back from doing, like, the prior stuff that he did was absolute dog shit. And now he's gonna be a face for the first time in years, so that worries me a bit. But we'll see.
If he stays with Paul Heyman, it'll be good.
No, I think I'll be alright.
Alright. Why do we even have to fucking... I don't even want to talk about this anymore. It's so fucking old. Let's talk about Dynamite.
Woohoo!
And the main thing that they decided to do that is just...
Took the world by storm.
Is setting everyone ablaze and fire and everything. So just let me break down the segment and we'll talk about it here. So, for people that don't know, you must be living under a rock.
Where the fuck have you been?
Last August, AEW had a show at Wembley, All In, and Jack Perry decided to do a spot on a windshield of a car with Hook, and he said, "Real glass, go cry me a river." And CM Punk did not like that because prior to that, Jack Perry wanted to do this spot on an episode of Collision, and CM Punk was like, "Go do that on Wednesdays." And so what happened was, after Jack Perry said that, he went backstage and CM Punk just choked someone out. He just choked someone a little. Which, yeah, he's not wrong. It was a little.
He left out some crucial information.
It was a little.
He left out crucial information.
But anyway, so the whole point of this was CM Punk went on... What did you call him yesterday? The Little Mermaid?
Yeah, Ariel. Little Mermaid.
Ariel Hawane's podcast talked about his time in AEW and brought this up, and Tony Khan got a little butthurt by it and was like, "You know what? We're gonna show the footage. We're gonna roll the tape." And then it was the Young Bucks sitting there, and they rolled the tape because they are currently in a match, which I did not know is now a ladder match.
Dog, I popped for it. I
That's
literally
how much
popped
I was
for
fucking
it.
paying attention. But
I said to you, oh shit, it's a ladder match now. And you said, oh, that's cool.
Oh. How much I fucking pay attention watching Collision. Anyway, it's a ladder match between FTR and the Young Bucks for the tag team titles. And FTR's friends with CM Punk. So, Young Bucks decided, in kayfabe, we don't know what's true or not, but they rolled the tape. And it was CM Punk and Jack Perry. The backstage footage from All In. And then CM Punk put on a front face lock on Jack Perry.
Okay.
So, I want to go with the chaos here. Samoa Joe broke it up, and then Chris Hero looked like he was a panic person, and Malachi Black was like, how do I do that to get fired?
Okay, so you're leaving so much out.
I am. I was trying to do a brief summary, because fuck, man, this is ridiculous.
You're leaving so much out. So let me backtrack a little bit.
This is ridiculous.
A little bit for Dylan. So really, the only part that I'm going to be backtracking to is the Young Bucks sitting down and showing the footage. So basically, they tried to keep this within the storyline with them against FTR going into Dynasty coming up on Sunday. And basically, their whole point in showing this footage was they were saying that FTR being friends with CM Punk are the reason that this happened, because they were trying to sabotage the Young Bucks for their match. Essentially saying there's this backstage commotion going on. Reporters are looking at them. They need answers, so the Young Bucks had to put their EVP caps on and do the right thing and tell all these people what's going down and what's going on. And they were so stressed and they were so distracted from everything that they couldn't focus on the match, and FTR got the best of them, and that's why they lost the match. And that's why they showed the footage to rope it into not only the FTR storyline, but also to rope it into Jack Perry and what happened to him and why he went away to New Japan and is now turning into, or has become scapegoat Jack Perry. Because Matt Jackson was wearing the scapegoat shirt underneath his little blazer suit. And along with that, they've been dropping hints from previous episodes of Dynamite where Matt went up to the camera and said, yo, scapegoat, love your work. Went up to Trent's mom, Sue, and after they beat best friends, and did the crying and said, oh, go cry me a river, go cry me a river. Prior to all this, I think it was Matt, posted a photo on Instagram and tagged himself as Jack Perry. Nick and Matt have both been going through Jack's posts every time he posts and commenting on it, being like, oh, good work, keep up the good work, we love seeing what you're doing, buddy. And it's just been a very constant thing over the past couple of months that they've been slowly hinting at Jack Perry's return. And I think your theory was that Jack Perry was going to come back at Dynasty. Yeah, actually, no, you knew this was a fucking ladder match because you said to me that Jack Perry was going to come back at the Dynasty match.
I found out it was a ladder match yesterday.
Okay, and that he was going to knock FTR off the ladders or something. So, yeah, we think Jack's going to come back at Dynasty, which I'm so fucking excited for. Along with that, going into the actual footage itself, CM Punk on the Little Mermaids podcast decided that he was going to leave out crucial parts, saying that, oh, I didn't punch anyone, I didn't do this, I just choked him out a little bit, and then I looked over at Tony and I was just like, oh man, you're a clown, I quit. And the footage more so shows of Punk pushing Perry when Perry's hands are up in his hair, so he's basically defenseless.
Also, if you're going to pause this podcast to go look for the footage, guess what? You ain't gonna find it because AEW are hypocrites and took it down.
If you want to find the footage, shameless plug, go to my TikTok at lungbucks, LUNG_bucks. I have a video where I was talking about this, and I posted the whole footage.
I'm surprised it's not taken down yet.
It doesn't have a lot of traction, which is not why I'm telling you to go watch it. I'm just saying it's still up. I'm wondering if the reason is because I did it as a green screen and I put myself in the corner and I talked over the whole thing so it could be transformed into transformative content. Because technically it's fair use.
I love when people will live stream UFC fights. Mm-hmm. But they're sitting in front of the screen with a PlayStation controller, pretending that it's a video game so it doesn't get taken down. It is the funniest shit ever.
But anyway, if you want to go look at the footage, you can go check it out on my TikTok. Again, I talk for a little bit. You could probably scroll through and find it. I'm not going to sit here and make you watch the whole video because we're talking about how we feel about this now, and I also did that on TikTok, so you don't have to sit and watch the whole thing, just if you're curious. But he shoves Perry while Perry has his hands in his hair. So he shoves him, and then it's a little convoluted if he pushes him again, if he sucker punches him, or like downward punches him, or whatever the fuck he does. But he pushes him, puts his hands on him in some sort of aggressive manner again, and then puts him in the chokehold. And, you know, Samoa Joe comes over and gets Perry, and people are grabbing Punk. And then Punk starts lunging towards Tony, yelling something. There's no audio to this footage. But he's yelling something at Tony, and then he's like visibly shaking people off of him and like walking away type of thing. So Punk did leave shit out. He's not 100% wrong because, yeah, he did choke Perry out a little. But, I mean, he didn't really choke him out. He just put him in a choke hold.
It happened backstage. I mean, some of the reports that, like, were like, monitors got knocked over. I think it looks like monitors did, like, in fact, did get knocked over. Yeah,
he bumped into one of the monitors. I don't know if it fell completely, but he did bump into it.
There was people there, which we'll get into all of this in a few.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was people there. I'm trying to think. I don't even know why it's called Brawl In. It wasn't even a brawl. It was literally like they said it in their promo. It's a high school. It reminds you of a high school fight.
Yeah, the Bucks say it's like it's not even a brawl. It's basically that a high school fight.
Yeah,
and they're like that's what we have to deal with right now is high school drama. And it was like the Bucks did a good job of incorporating it in, because it wasn't just a lot of people just saw it online and just I'm assumed that AEW just opened the show with this fucking footage basically.
I think it was at the 9 o'clock hour.
Yeah, people are thinking that this was just kind of thrown up there, which I wouldn't say it was. Again, they tried to rope it into a storyline, and I think. Realistically, the reason that they did it, and we'll kind of, again, go into this a little bit more, but I think the reason that they did it was more so of it wasn't necessarily to benefit anyone. I think the reason...
It didn't benefit anyone.
That's a lie. It kind of did, but we'll get into that.
It didn't benefit the company that was promoting this.
Yes. But what I think they were doing is they didn't really give a shit if this benefited anyone or hurt anybody at this point. Because CM Punk went on the podcast, along with that, WWE was continuously taking shots at AEW the whole week of WrestleMania weekend. Realistically, people were talking about AEW more than they were talking about WrestleMania, which was kind of ridiculous and kind of insane. And I think that they were like, you know what, fuck it, we're sick and tired of this fucking old-ass goddamn fucking bullshit. He wants to go on a podcast and bring it up. He wants to keep taking shots. They want to keep taking shots. They want to keep saying this, that, and the other thing. You know what? Fuck it. We're going to air the goddamn fucking footage. Y'all can figure it out for yourselves. Y'all can come to your own conclusions. But this is it. This is the hard evidence of what happened. Take it or leave it as it fucking is. But because they couldn't just fucking do that. I mean, I guess they technically could have. But I think that would have been a much worse way of going about it. They decided to figure out a way to rope it into a storyline. And having the Bucks do it makes sense because of Brawl Out. And also, again, because of their ongoing feud with FTR.
And FTR put it perfect when they came out right after that and cut a promo and saying, we're sick and tired of talking about this. We want to move on.
I think that speaks for everyone.
I don't even want to fucking talk about this part of the fucking podcast, but here the fuck we are. In my opinion, I'm going to try to remain calm because I'm high. I'm tired from work. It's fucking stupid. And that's exactly what this is. It's fucking stupid. It doesn't benefit anyone. It doesn't benefit Punk side. It doesn't benefit the Elite side. It doesn't benefit AEW. This shouldn't have been shown. This is like you say it a lot on the podcast. Wrestling fans know too fucking much. This is something that should have not been shown. Yeah, I joked in the beginning of the fucking thing and said, yeah, Nitro was Dynamite was literally an episode of WCW Nitro, and it was. It literally was. And I'm not trying to knock them. I'm really not. I want AEW to do good. I like AEW. There's things in AEW I like, and there's things in WWE I like. There's things in AEW I absolutely fucking hate, and there's things in WWE I absolutely fucking hate. But why show backstage footage? I don't care that it's to fucking
Clear the air.
Clear the air, to do with a storyline or whatever. This obviously did not work out for them because they had to take down the footage. The YouTube video that they uploaded, like the recap of the show and everything, it's this video of the Bucks, like the segment, it's the whole segment, but they cut out where they air the footage, and then it just goes to the FTR in ring segment. So you and people, there was a tweet out of, I don't know the laws of the United Kingdom or anything like that because this was taking place in the United Kingdom, but supposedly this footage goes against some sort of law in the order of court. I don't know the right terms or anything, but I saw a lawyer. We're gonna keep his name just reacted because I don't redacted. You know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
But he said, I tried to warn them yesterday, which was CM Punk. It's CM Punk's lawyer. But people were like, CM Punk has a chance to do the funniest thing and sue, but I don't think he's gonna sue because he got paid out of his big money contract in AEW and he's making WWE money. I just don't agree with this fucking being shown because it's just fucking stupid. This happened fucking like 8 months ago. And it just made the company look bad, and there was no reaction to it. Well, there was, but it wasn't the reaction they were looking for, I don't think.
I don't know. So,
and we don't know. Before you say the fuck CM Punk chance,
I'm not talking about that.
There's been no proof of that. That's just Dave being fucking Dave Meltzer. But there was CM Punk chance.
Yeah, that's not what I'm talking about. What I am going to talk about is, so just to piggyback off of that, I saw a video that did start with CM Punk chants, but then at the end of it sounded like there was thank you Jack chants, but I'd never heard any fuck CM Punk chants.
Like the most I heard, like you see the video, it's silent. It's like a library in the arena. It's silent. They're all watching it, and then the shove happens, and then you kind of hear like a slight ooh, and then the choke happens, and then you hear people go, CM Punk, CM Punk.
And then as it's broken up is when you can start hearing the thank you Jack chant. So it kind of sounded a little split of like a 50-50 type thing, but like they weren't going on at the same time.
But it's just a mess. It made the company look bad, and then there's so many reports that are hard to believe of I'm sure I know for a fact it's pretty obvious of there was people that were against airing this.
Yeah.
But supposedly this was the at first the Bucks didn't agree to it, but then they did, whatever. The thing is, does Jack Perry know about this?
Well, he does now.
Yeah, but was he okay with this? I'm sure Punk was Punk fucking posted a George Bush meme when it happened, so there's that. But again, it goes back a couple episodes, I said, and I'll say it again. The biggest problem in AEW is Tony Khan.
Alright, well, let me get my opinion out of here.
Well, that's my opinion. Tony Khan's a fucking idiot.
I agree that, as always, we know too much as wrestling fans. I don't think airing the footage was necessarily the best idea. It's tough because it's like, I do agree that a company should be able to clap back and stand up for themselves, and if they've constantly had this false narrative like circling around that's constantly being brought up, or dies down for a little bit, but then you hear this, that, and the other thing type of thing, or something that's just consistently hanging over your head and people keep poking at it.
Then
like,
it's kind of promo.
I get the frustration of being like, you know what? No, we know the truth. We know what happened. Here's what fucking happened. Everyone shut the fuck up. And I get that. But do I think business-wise was it the smartest decision for AEW?
No.
Not necessarily. But I also will disagree. Now definitely, I will disagree of you saying that this doesn't benefit anybody, because this has single-handedly benefited Jack Perry. This is hands down.
We'll get into how it benefit when we talk about New Japan.
Hands down has benefited him.
That's the whole point of why I kind of went Raw, SmackDown.
We will get there, but I'm just throwing that out there right now. So I do believe that one person. Now, don't get me wrong. I love this boy. However, one person out of, so we got Perry, Bucks, Perry, Matt, Nick, Tony, Punk, FTR, so Dax and Cash. So far that's 7 people. 1 out of 7 people that this has benefited.
Yeah, like this. Hold on. Let me put in more 2 cents here. We're not getting a Punk and Jack Perry match.
No.
And I'm sorry, we don't need an FTR Young Bucks 4.
No, I don't know how we got here.
Yeah, like because the tag titles got vacated because Sting won and retired.
The Bucks needed to be in the tournament. I just don't know how we got to Bucks and FTR.
Yeah, we don't need. I love FTR, but we don't need Bucks and FTR 4. We don't.
I mean, the Bucks are gonna win the belts because Perry's gonna help them.
Hey, at least FTR's not getting pinned.
But, yeah, no. So we have 7 people in this. It benefited 1, which I'm glad, honestly, out of all people that it did benefit, it was him. Because I feel...
The guy who gets choked out.
Well, I feel bad. Because, yeah, I don't think that Perry should have went out there and made his snarky little bitchy comment. Even though I think it was bitchy and served cunt. But...
Stop. Don't say that word on here.
We're not monetized. It doesn't matter.
You just said the worst thing. He said the worst thing that he could have called me.
A cunt.
A cunt.
We're not monetized. It doesn't fucking matter. I don't give 2 goddamn fucking shits.
So offended.
I don't think cunt is any worse than the word fuck. It's fine.
Goddamn motherfucking cunt.
Yeah, so it's fine.
Sorry, Mom, if you're listening.
Do I think that was funny? Yeah, I do. And do I think it served? Yes, I do. However, I get it that he probably shouldn't have done that. However, I also don't think that comment justified being assaulted, because that's what this was. This was a workplace assault. Doesn't classify being assaulted at work. I don't know, maybe outside if you guys got into a bar fight. I don't know why Punk would have been there to begin with, but let's just say hypothetically speaking, whatever. But on work premises, you do not deserve to be getting fucking choked out and shoved and possibly punched, especially with a fucking cheap shot, over a snarky little comment. There should have been other things in place before this even happened. But nonetheless, which we'll get into that in a second, so not only did he get assaulted for it, but he also got suspended and he got shipped off to a completely different company to keep him away, which I do think is doing good too for him, which again I'll talk more about later. But I feel bad because he did one stupid thing that Punk definitely would have done at the age of 26, that he probably has done, if not has done worse.
I don't think Punk's ever done anything with glass. I don't recall.
I'm saying the comment! The stupid, snarky fucking comment.
You have a vagina!
Yeah, we're coming off the guy that called a fan a homo, along with the most infamous fucking pipe bomb. Like... And he's gonna go assault someone for taking a cheap jab. Like to me, he didn't fucking deserve that, and I think he got a lot of fucking shit for it that is completely unjustified.
We're missing the big question here. In the interview, Punk was really pressed because it was gonna be a rental car, which I understand. Was this car a rental car?
Yeah, like, I don't know if I can trust him.
I want to know if this car was a rental car. Was this a rental car?
Oh, I doubt. Like, here's the thing, right? Like, part of me really doesn't know what to believe is coming out of Punk's mouth. Because, simply put, like, I'm gonna be so...
He choked them out!
Dude, I'm gonna be so fucking for real here. The amount of times we have seen car spots in wrestling where they just have these junked fucking cars, because I guarantee you the one All In was a junked car. I doubt it was a fucking rental. So my thought, right, is this is a wrestling company. This is a normal thing that happens. This is oddly normal. So why would he choose a rental car instead of a junk car?
Well, yeah, you don't do a rental car.
Yeah, so I don't, like, is Punk legitimately saying...
Because like, Punk is right about that of, like, what are you going to do with the rental car when you return it? Because, who rented this car? A wrestler. Hey, I would like to, and then another wrestler. Hey, I would like to rent a car. Nope, you're a fucking wrestler. The last wrestler that fucking rented a car. They'll do that.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, do we really think that if Perry wanted to go about this fucking spot, they wouldn't have just gotten him a junk car?
I'd say AEW.
I mean, they did the spot, and it definitely had to have been a junk fucking car. And they've done this multiple fucking times. If AEW had a history of destroying rental cars every time they did a goddamn fucking car spot, honest to God, I think we would have heard about it by now. I think we would have fucking heard about it by now. There's no fucking way.
I was just trying to make a joke.
I know, but I'm just saying, there's no way. It's like all of it's so convoluted still. But
this whole thing was fucking silly.
Yes. Nonetheless,
it killed the mood of the episode. I didn't give a fuck about anything after it.
Nonetheless, I think that the biggest issue I have with this footage, and it's not anything to do specifically with Tony.
It's being shown.
Not even just that. It's not even something to do specifically with Tony and saying like, well, Tony Khan was clearly at fault here, right? So I'm gonna play a little bit of a devil's advocate, right? Tony's in the middle of ending this pre-show, going into a at least 72,000 filled arena for their pay-per-view.
You go, and then I'll put in my 2 cents.
Biggest fucking pay-per-view that they've had. Biggest fucking event that they've had. Largest fucking scale, right? And Punk goes, Tony, do something about this. Man's is fucking in the middle of trying to run a fucking large-ass fucking pay-per-view, right? So I can understand Tony hearing a stupid comment and being like, this is really not worth me taking my energy away from this huge-ass fucking show where I care more about the fans and like the people watching than this silly little fucking argument right now. So I don't know what you want me to do about it. My issue is not just that Tony didn't do anything, but that there was a plethora of people here. People who knew about the past Real Glass situation before the comment was made. People who knew that there was tension already between these two. Maybe they didn't hear what Jack said out there, which is very possible. However, the issue is they know about something is going, they know that there's a problem with them, and seemingly from the video footage, because Jack's just standing there, it seems like maybe Punk, like, said something to him as he was approaching, because I don't know why the fuck he would just be standing there. But then Punk comes up and gets up in Perry's face about something. Now, it doesn't look like they're screaming, waving their hands around or something, but there's clearly some sort of conflict, and you can tell by head movements between Punk and Perry that things are getting a little bit more, like, heated. And there's all these people here seeing this happen, watching this happen, seeing this go down, hearing what the fuck is going on, and it takes the first shove, and to the point of the first shove, and then into this fucking chokehold, for people to be like, okay, we should break this up now.
Yeah, so...
Like, someone should have stepped in way before that ever happened.
So, that's the thing. Like, it shouldn't have gotten to that point. If Jack wanted to do what Jack did, okay, let the idiot fucking kid do it. Whatever. This is how it should have been handled, in my opinion. Jack is walking backstage. Punk is up next. He's the next match. So he's
like there.
So he's going to be there. He's on deck. Something that backyard wrestlers don't fucking understand.
Continue.
Man, if people listen to this that are backyard wrestlers, like, they probably fucking hate me. Whatever.
Continue.
Anyway. Okay, I can agree with you said of... We talked about this yesterday, so you know what I'm going to say. But I can agree with Lissy said of Tony being like, I'm not concerned about this. I have 80,000 fucking people out there, and I have how many people ordered the fucking show or whatever, watching at home. It's a big show. But here's the thing. There's other people back there. They knew that this happened. If Jack walked backstage and I see Punk and like I heard what Jack said, Jack, go to your locker room. Go. Leave this area. Punk, shut the fuck up. Go out there and wrestle.
Yeah.
That's what could have been. Or if Jack just got past you and you see these two people that have a fucking problem talking literally feet away from each other, even if they're not screaming and maybe they're just talking, we don't know. Again, there's no sound. We don't know how the conversation started. But I would be on my tippy toes.
Yeah.
Seeing them talk.
I would have gone up to at least assess the situation.
Yeah, I would have kind of like been a spy and walked past them to kind of get a brief of the conversation to see how heated it is. And if it was heated, I would have been like, all right, guys, like, hey, not now. This isn't the time. If Tony was worried about running the show, okay, that's why you have help. And obviously, he had help back there. Chris Hero.
Well, the thing is, yeah, there was...
But that could have been a thing of, okay, if there is a problem here, Jack, go to your locker room. Punk, go out there and wrestle. We will take care of this after your match. Go worry about your match because it's every match, like, your match is important too. Like, it's this whole event was important for everyone. This was the biggest crowd Punk ever performed in front of. From Punk to FTR to Young Bucks to Jack Perry, a big crowd, all of them. So, and then if I'm Tony, I would have looked at one of my fucking second in commands and been like, "Hey, we got to take care of this. This is an issue. Let's take care of this." Why did everyone just wait for it to fucking get physical?
Including, and look, I'll take the heat with it, including like Samoa Joe and Hook.
No, I was about to say like no offense, Samoa Joe's at fault, Hook's at fault, Malachi Black's at fault, Chris Hero's at fault, Tony Khan's at fault, CM Punk's at fault, Jack Perry's at fault, and whoever the fuck else was back there is at fault.
Yeah, every single fucking person back there is 100% at fault because you saw this happening and did nothing until it was too late.
And this is coming from a CM Punk fan and a Jack Perry and Young Bucks fan.
Well, I'm the Jack Perry and Young Bucks fan. They can't see that you're pointing at me.
I can't see that you're pointing. But this is coming from the mouths of a CM Punk fan and a fucking whatever the fuck. An Elite fan, both saying that everyone involved in this is at fault to a certain degree because they let it happen. They let it get to this point.
Yeah.
If there's already tensions with Brawl Out. Like, Brawl Out's a whole different story. That could have been avoided, too. But this could have all been avoided as well. But Samoa Joe saved a life that day. And Chris Hero, I'm sorry, you looked very panicked.
I don't think Punk would have actually been able to kill Perry with how shitty of a fucking chokehold that was.
I don't even know. Again, we don't know how tight he had it either.
It looked like the kid just slipped right the fuck out. Like
Samoa Joe just fucking.
He picked him up like a baby. He picked him up like a baby.
Good job on Hook though for kayfabe.
Hook was just looking back and forth to make sure like nothing else was gonna fucking happen. But like he's also just standing there like, I don't give two shits. And also, somebody else posted, like, a GIF or just a clip of Brawl Out before everything happened. And they're like, tag yourself. I'm Samoa Joe looking at... Or I'm the yellow cooler that Samoa Joe keeps looking at. Or whatever the fuck it was. Like, yeah, why was Samoa Joe eyeballing this cooler so fucking hard? Like, going back and rewatching it and just seeing, like, all the weird little nuancy things that's just going on is very funny.
But, yeah, to wrap this all up completely... This never should have happened.
Should have never happened and should have never been aired, but I will support Jack Perry's rights and wrongs till the day I die.
Tony Khan should have just let CM Punk go when CM Punk told him to let him go, in my opinion.
If that's true.
It honestly...
It probably is.
It probably is. Come on, we're talking about CM Punk here.
It's probably the one truth that came out of his mouth.
If Punk can go up to Vince McMahon face to face and go, I'm out of here, he can do it to Tony as well. But this is all fucking stupid. From one company that's fucking falling apart to another company, let's talk about New Japan. And let's talk about the two major things. Let's cover the quick one really quick. Congratulations, Mox. You're the IWGP champion.
Yahoo! Good job for Mox for winning the IWGP championship and also have been prior holding the AEW World Championship and the WWE Championship.
He's the first ever person to do that.
That's fucking insane. And super cool for him.
It lasted all 4 days with no Shield members as champions.
Yeah, right. Mox heard that and he was like, I am politicking.
And then he won. No, I kept saying it. Mox is going to win because why not? Because honestly, when a company's fucking falling apart, might as well just put the belt on Jon Moxley to carry the company.
Well, also, and I mean, like, I was concerned because I was like, I love Naito and I also love Mox. I have more of a love-hate relationship with Mox, but nonetheless, like, I appreciate Mox. And my biggest concern was, well, I kind of want Naito to win because people over in Japan kind of deserve their champion to be there. You know what I mean? But apparently Mox is I know he's gonna be on Dynamite this week, but apparently Mox is getting some like time off to go over to Japan to fulfill the duties, so that's good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
He might just stop by in AEW when like there's nothing going on for now.
Also, I saw, which I know we're gonna kind of go into this a little bit maybe. I was rewatching those matches, or not rewatching, I was watching those matches, and I saw, Mox and Shota, and dude, Mox is like different in Japan.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck.
I think that's who Mox is gonna drop the belt to be honest
Shota?
with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah.
I honestly can see it happening.
That'd be fucking sick.
I see Mox holding the belt until like Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah. That's
fair. Chicago versus Jack Perry.
Jack Perry won.
Bro.
I mean, he lost the match, but he won.
Did he lose?
Yeah,
I didn't even care about the outcome, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he lost.
The only outcome I cared about was Matt Riddle no-selling his finish to Zack Sabre Jr. But I mean, he was kind of. We talked about it.
It was a roll-up.
I don't want to talk about Matt Riddle on the fucking podcast. I'd rather talk about Jack Perry than Matt Riddle. What the fuck has this podcast come to? Anyway, Jack Perry was John Cena at ECW One Night Stand entering Chicago.
Dude, he won the crowd over. He did win.
There was a "Oh Cry Me a River" chant.
There was a "You got choked out" and then
you
no,
got
he
choked.
didn't.
Yeah, no, he didn't chant. He came out with the Riot Squad, and one of them was Jose the assistant, who now goes by Jose the Unemployed on Twitter.
Oh no.
He had a Chicago flag.
Mm-hmm.
He had Crimea River on his jacket.
I'm making that jacket. I've decided.
We'll get into that in a minute. And we will get you threw me off. He went for the GTS.
Mm-hmm. Got countered.
I saw a video of him doing the knee strike in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Like the knee strike bulldog or whatever. Anyway, go ahead.
What am I going off about?
Jack Perry versus Chicago.
It was so good. Like, honestly, I was a little bit fucking worried for him. I was. Because I was like, someone's gonna kill him. Someone's gonna jump this barricade and try to fucking kill him.
That's why you had the Riot Squad.
But I like that he came out with the Chicago flag. I like the Crimea River on the back of the jacket. It was really fucking good.
He turned a negative into a positive. I can give him that. So,
let's go into how I'm saying that the only person that this footage has benefited is Jack Perry. And that's because ever since this footage had came out, it took him, what, 2 days? 2 days, and people ended up getting behind him. Yeah.
He got shown on national television getting quote-unquote choked out. I would be embarrassed.
No,
but this motherfucker was like, you know what? I'm going to this motherfucker's hometown for a New Japan show, and I'm just gonna turn a negative into a positive. So I'll give Luke Perry's son credit where credit is due. Fun fact: I'm named after Luke Perry's character, Dylan McKay from 90210. Really good show. You guys should watch it. It's a really good show. Thanks, Mom.
But anyway, so it took like 2 days. Of course, when he comes out, people are booing him and whatnot. That's kind of to be expected. But as the match went on, the Chicago crowd did end up getting behind him, and, and it turned the whole thing into a really good positive for him. Along with that, not only did, he get this positive reaction from the Chicago crowd, but his Scapegoat shirt sold out twice on his own website. So completely sold out inventory twice. And the House of Torture shirt, the Crimea River House of Torture shirt, also became the number one selling shirt in New Japan. Like, the number one selling fucking shirt. Which is crazy for a faction that a lot of people said is absolute fucking dog shit.
It is.
That the fact that their shirt is now the number one because of Jack Perry. So, a lot of people on here like to talk about numbers. I don't. I think numbers are fucking stupid. I like what I like. I watch what I watch. I don't give a fuck about the numbers. If it entertains me, that's what matters. But if y'all want to sit here and complain and talk about numbers, this motherfucker went to a top merch seller basically in 24 to 48 hours. Like, very easily, very fucking quickly. And on top of that, like I said at the beginning of the podcast today, he not only restocked the scapegoat shirts, which I'm unsure of the stock of right now because I haven't checked, but he restocked the scapegoat shirts and he came out with 2 new designs. One of which I'm assuming the other one probably 2. But I only saw the message from one person. One of which was something that was a piece of fan art that somebody made for him that he bought the design off of this independent artist and made a shirt out of, which I think is really fucking cool. And I think that's fucking awesome that he did that. So shout out to Jack Perry for supporting the independent real fucking artists. Love that for you. Thank you. So yeah, I mean, realistically...
Yeah, at least he doesn't steal people's art.
Exactly. Or he's an AI artist. Oh, those are pretty bad too.
Which, fuck you, Christine, for showing up at that show.
Yeah, fuck off, Christine.
You deserve to get heckled. Fuck anyone that is defending her on Twitter, you fucking pieces of shit as well.
But, which honestly, like, I even said to Dylan, I was like, this has nothing to do with anything really, but said to Dylan, I was like, I bet you really the only reason she's there is to get footage of Jack Perry so she can try and make her return and have her footage of Jack Perry go fucking viral because he's the hot topic right now. She doesn't even like Jack Perry. Like, she told me the one time when we were texting each other that, I guess she ended up making it, like, the camera panned over to her because she was always front row and whatnot when Jungle Boy Jack Perry was coming out, and everyone was doing the, whoa, 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 and she wasn't, and they were like, yeah, like, everyone around me is going crazy, and I'm not because I don't like Jack Perry, or Jungle Boy Jack Perry, or whatever, and I'm like, that should have been my first red flag, honestly. It really fucking should have. Because if you're... Look, I know how you feel about certain things, but look, we've been to many AEW shows. We have seen Jack Perry. And you cannot sit here and tell me you weren't waving your arms going, whoa, 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 whoa.
I enjoyed his match with Luchasaurus in the cage.
So good. Dude, that was such a good match. That was such a fun match to watch. I'm so happy
we saw them win the tag belts.
We saw them win the tag belts, too.
We saw Rey Fenix do the same thing my arm did.
Yeah, that was our first AEW show, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the TBS debut.
Yeah, it was the TBS debut.
Bro, that was a bonkers show. That's when AEW was good.
Such a good fucking show.
We're probably going to be going in the summer.
Yeah, I hope so.
Our next wrestling show is SmackDown, FYI.
Yeah, we're going to SmackDown, and then hopefully AEW Collision.
It'll be Collision.
And then Full Gear's in Newark.
Yeah, well, we probably will end up.
I want to go!
That venue is always cool to go to.
I want to go.
It's going to be at the Prudential Center, right?
Yeah, Prudential Center.
And there's not really... Get the same fucking seats we got last time.
No. I'm not sitting in the nosebleeds again.
You're not sitting that high? There wasn't even that high.
I will pay more money to not sit in the nosebleeds.
Then try to get the seats that we had the first time.
They were a lot of money, but
yeah, they were.
I mean, they weren't. I don't think they were that much more. It was just so. The simple fact of the matter is, my dad bought us tickets for Christmas 2 years ago.
Wait, can we just get seats on the hard cam side because there wouldn't be no one there? Sorry, I had to make that joke.
There were people on the hard cam side when we were there.
I don't like sitting next to people.
There were people on the hard cam side. We sat anyway. So
I hate going to shows.
Anyway, so my dad got us tickets for Christmas 2 years ago to go to Full Gear. And he gave me money for the tickets and was like, just pick out the seats what you want. Here you go. Cool. So within my budget, I was only able to afford the nosebleeds, and I didn't have really any extra money of my own at the time to be putting into it. So that kind of sucked. But nonetheless, I mean, I still appreciate that he got us the tickets. So, but if I were to choose my seats, it definitely wouldn't have been the nosebleeds because they were very high up and I didn't like it. But it was a very fun show. So I would like to do what I can to go to Full Gear again this year. Because, fuck it, I want to.
I mean, to be honest with you, we probably end up will, because remember when I said, like, this probably might be, like, the only chance we get to go to a pay-per-view? Who would have thought we'd get to go to
another one,
another
right?
one?
Like,
so, honestly, we might.
If Full Gear's, like, gonna be in just Newark, or, like, in this general area that's, like, not far from us, I mean, I'll go to fucking Full Gear every goddamn year.
I just don't like that they have, like, the same locations for every pay-per-view. They should change it up. Like, put Double or Nothing in Atlantic City.
I don't want to go to Atlantic City.
I like that venue. It's on the boardwalk.
I hate Atlantic City with a burning
same.
passion.
I fucking hate Atlantic City.
It's terrible.
It's garbage.
It's awful. Everyone's rude. I hate it there.
It smells like shit.
Just fucking hate Atlantic City.
Anyway.
The drive is terrible. Fucking hate it.
Anyway, anything else to talk about?
I mean, in conclusion, I can continue to talk about Jack Perry. But nonetheless, I'm happy for him that he was able to turn a negative into a positive. Along with the Windy City Riot, I was like, okay, I need to see what the fuck he's like. Because I've seen clips of what he's done in New Japan on like the internet and whatnot, but I haven't sat down and watched a full match. So I'm like, what has he been doing over in New Japan, like fully? So I have New Japan World, so I went through and I watched all of his matches from New Japan, which a lot of them are like tag matches because he's in a faction. That makes sense. A couple singles matches and whatnot. And honestly, if we get the Jack Perry that we've been seeing in New Japan on AEW, I'm going to be so fucking thrilled. He has stepped so far away from high-flying moves, it's fucking crazy. Like, I think the most he does is a Poison Rana. That's it. Like, he and especially if he's going into with the Elite, and now that the Bucks have also drifted away from their flippy style and they are more grounded, like, I think it'll work really fucking well. So I like the style he's picked up, and he's definitely been doing a lot better, and the couple of promos he's cut here and there, he's definitely getting more comfortable with being a heel. I watched a couple interviews of him today, and I'm not going to talk about the Hey EW one, that one was just really fucking funny. But I watched a couple interviews of him today, and he I think it was a What Culture one that I watched, and he was talking about like his like promos and whatnot, because he's like, I think I have it pretty down pat of my in-ring work. Promos were always the one thing that I was like the least excited or least cared about doing, because like I just wanted to go out there and wrestle, and this was when he was, after his whole thing with Christian, and he was a single star and whatnot.
Sounds like a lot of people I know.
And it was just kind of one of those things where he was just like, I didn't really put much into it. Originally, I was like, oh god, I don't want to do this. But as time has gone on, I've gotten more comfortable doing it. And he would always say that as a babyface, he doesn't like the over-the-top, overconfident babyface type thing, because that's just not who he is. He's more of like a reserved person. So he just tried to kind of amplify it a little bit, but still kind of keep it like true to who he is and how he is. And I really like that. And then also hearing that, and now watching him as a heel, not only is it just kind of a complete 180 of that, but I wonder if he's keeping that same type of logic with it. But he is angry now. He has a reason to be angry. He got shipped off into a dying faction over in New Japan because he made a stupid comment. Some dude decided to punch him about it.
He got shipped off to a dying faction and a dying company.
Yeah, he just got shipped off overseas somewhere.
Because New Japan's fucking dying too.
So, I mean, I feel like maybe he is, legitimately angry and has a chip on his shoulder, and he's letting that show now. And it's good. And he even said, like, I'm not going to go out there and ask for 30 minutes of people's time. Like, I want to keep it short and sweet. I'm not going to be an MJF out there. But nonetheless, like, it's, like, to me. So I really like that, and I think after kind of hearing stuff like that and learning a little bit, like, more about how he views things is really interesting. So I'm just happy for him, I mean, he's a young kid, so he's got his whole fucking career ahead of him, and I'm glad that this one thing isn't going to be like the downfall of his career. If anything, again, he's turning it into a positive, and he's going to be able to just really amplify and capitalize off of it. So,
well, we'll see how he gets treated when he comes back to AEW. Cause
I think he's going to be fine with the Bucks.
It's fucking questionable at this point.
I think if he's with the Bucks, he's going to be fine.
Anyway, it's that time of the week. It's Wrestler of the Week time.
Uh-huh.
I get to pick. Because
okay.
I'm the host. You got to do this. You got to help me out here.
Dylan, who is your Wrestler of the Week?
It's easy. It is Beautiful Bobby, Sweet Stan, Loverboy Dennis, and with Jim Cornette and Big Bubba Rogers, the Midnight Express.
I don't know enough about
the greatest tag team of all time.
Oh my god.
Ask me questions about the Midnight Express.
How did you learn about him?
Jim Cornette.
When?
Actually, honestly, I think the first time I ever learned about them, I owned, like, a best of, like, WCW video, or a DVD back in the day, and, like, they would have, like, those, like, random matches, and I believe It was technically an NWA match. It was from Starrcade 86. I do remember this. It was Starrcade 86, the night of the Skywalkers, in a scaffold match. The Rock and Roll Express versus the Midnight Express. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Because the whole point of a scaffold match is you're fighting on a fucking scaffold above the ring. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, okay, that's how I fell in love with the Rock and Roll Express, because bright colors and stuff. And then over time learned Midnight Express, watched Bobby Eaton, and was like, fuck, Bobby Eaton, so fucking good. And then listening, I'm ready for the hate mail, listening to the drive-thru and the experience, and just hearing Midnight Express stories, and just watching YouTube videos and watching Midnight Express after all these years, and being like, wow, fuck, yeah, I really like the Midnight Express. If I was alive back in the 80s, they would be my favorite fucking tag team next to the Rock and Roll Express. Because the Rock and Roll Express and Midnight Express have one of the greatest tag team rivalries of all time. And that's why I like FTR, because they are literally the Midnight Express. Ask me more about the Midnight. You can ask me, like, what version of the Midnight Express I like.
Yeah, answer that one. What's your favorite version of the Midnight Express?
That's a hard one.
Why the fuck did you tell me to ask you that?
To be honest with you. Mind you, we're not talking about the original Midnight Express with Dennis Condrey and Randy Rose, and we're not talking about the new Midnight Express with Bodacious Bob and whoever, I forget who the other one was and stuff. But there's two versions of the Midnight Express that matter the most, and that is Bobby Eaton and Dennis Condrey, and Bobby Eaton and Sweet Stan. It's so hard to pick which one is good, because they are both good in their own fucking way. Like, yeah, the original of Bobby and Dennis is great. That's what started the whole Rock and Roll Express, Midnight Express feud. The reason why Sweet Stan became a member is because Dennis Condrey just fucking up and left one day. He was like, fuck this. He's like, fuck the business. I'm out. And Jim Cornette was like, shit, what are we going to do, Bobby? Pretty much. But Midnight Express, one of the greatest heel tag teams. And the only man to ever turn Jim Cornette face, Paul Heyman. Because they did the original. So after Dennis left, Bobby and Stan were doing the Midnight Express thing. But Paul Heyman shows up with Randy Rhoads and Dennis Condrey, the original Midnight Express, and they have a Midnight Express versus Midnight Express feud. That's where the infamous Jim Cornette gets busted open with the telephone in the white suit in Altoona, Pennsylvania.
Shout out to Altoona.
Altoona!
I know someone from there.
Graves! I'm killing kayfabe if you watch NUW.
Miss you, Graves.
Fuck you, Graves. I'll see you. I'm gonna win that hardcore title.
Miss you, Graves.
But ask me more questions about the Midnight Express.
Who's your favorite member?
Bobby Eaton, 100%. Bobby Eaton is one of the most underrated fucking workers ever. Great fucking worker. Bobby Eaton. Alabama Jam. That's the name of his fucking finish.
But the way that, like, it just kind of... Bobby Eaton, Alabama Jam?
Yes. Alabama Jam.
He's eating the Alabama Jam?
Beautiful Bobby. Beautiful Bobby.
What's your favorite Midnight Express match?
I mean, it's just... You can say Rock and Roll Express. Like, there's so many good ones. There's them and the Fantastics. Them versus the Road Warriors. Them versus the Freebirds. The Midnight... Bro, Midnight Express has not had a bad match. They're so fucking good. Just look up the Midnight Express, man. They're so fucking good. Like, any era of them, from NWA, WCCW, WCW, Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Fuck, man. It's just good. And they deserve to be in WWE Hall of Fame, even though they were never in WWE, but they should be in the WWE Hall of Fame, because fuck it, why not? All four of them. And when I mean all four of them, I mean Cornette as well, because say what you want about Jim Cornette. Say what you want. Whatever. I understand. People have their different opinions. I like Jim Cornette. Send in the hate mail. Whatever. I'm part of the cult of meat and extra cheese. But
why am I dating you?
What a great, like, you've seen his work. I've shown you videos.
I know.
What a heat magnet.
I know.
What a heat magnet. I found a video actually the other day on Twitter. I'll have to find it again. But it's right before the scaffold match. Like they're in the ring rehearsing like in an empty arena, and it's Cornette just talking to them, and like Jim Cornette's like, now get up there and strategize stuff, right? And Dennis starts climbing, and Bobby's like, no, I don't want to climb, and then he's like, Bobby, climb for me, Bobby, please. And he kisses Bobby Eaton on the cheek, and is like, come on, I've done things for you that I didn't want to do. Please climb for me, Bobby. Also, Jim Cornette's a trooper because he fell from the fucking scaffold and tore apart his fucking knee. What a trooper.
If you were a young wrestler that was learning, getting into the business, and you had the option to sit down with any one of the 4 members, who would you pick?
See, I would have to pick 2 for 2 specific reasons. Bobby Eaton, just to learn how to work, because what a fucking worker. And then I'd sit down with Cornette to learn the business side of things.
Okay, well that was a quicker answer to the question than I thought it was going to be. I didn't think of another one.
If you're gonna ask me about like, oh, if you're a wrestler, like which one would you sit down with? It's Bobby Eaton.
Well, look, I don't know. Like, you surprise me sometimes, and sometimes you come up with things like out of your fucking ass that I'm like, okay, I didn't expect that from you.
It's Bobby Eaton, one of the greatest tag team wrestlers ever. One of the greatest wrestlers ever.
Okay, if you were to... No, because it's probably just going to be Bobby Eaton.
Yeah?
I gotta say, if you were to wrestle one of them, who would
you Bobby Eaton, 100%.
Yeah, so okay, I didn't even need to ask it.
You just want me to say Cornette? Because that would just be funny.
Yeah, wrestle Cornette. I won't get involved at all. I will not shoot at all. Do not worry.
Him and Paul Heyman had a tuxedo match once.
Oh, it was such a good match.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've shown you that match.
That was such a fun match. It was so stupid. I loved it. I don't know. I don't think I have any more questions for you. Do you just want to talk about them? Say some things about them that you didn't get to say?
They're fucking great, man. I just look up the Midnight Express. Midnight Express versus Rock and Roll Express. Midnight Express versus the Fantastics. Midnight Express versus the Freebirds. Road Warriors. Fuck.
Our wrestling interest is so fucking different.
I just love the Midnight Express, man. I really do. To put this in newer terms, the Midnight Express now is FTR, and the Rock and Roll Express now is the Young Bucks. Kind of the way to put it.
Yeah, the Young Bucks even had a shirt of the Rock and Roll Express.
The Rock and Roll Express has made appearances on AEW.
Yeah.
FTR gave Ricky Morton a spike pile driver once.
Yeah, they're still wrestling.
Santana and Ortiz fucking attacked them before. Dennis Condrey made an appearance on Collision before. CM Punk was wearing a cowboy hat.
Okay, well, does that about do it?
That about does it.
All right, well, important question to ask. With Dynasty coming up next week, how are we going to do the format? Are we going to do another 2-parter? Are we going to throw this all into one?
Probably just all into one because it's not a 2-night pay-per-view thing. Right. And we'll see how much news or wrestling. I kind of just see how long the episode would be.
Okay.
Like example, if we were talking about Dynasty in this episode, we would just have it one episode because we're literally only like an hour and 17 minutes in.
Okay.
So, we'll keep the people updated if things happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll keep the people updated.
Okay.
Speaking of Dynasty, we can do the outro of this because we didn't really get a chance to do it with WrestleMania. I don't believe. I don't even know if the whole card is...
I doubt it. I doubt you need the whole card. Tony's going to add probably at least 3 more matches.
Probably.
But...
Where's Dynasty?
You passed it.
No, I want the... Okay. Whatever. Upcoming events. Dynasty. What we got going on here? Matches. Yeah, there's only 8 announced. They have to announce like 10 more.
All right, so what do we got?
We got Will Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson.
Will Ospreay.
Will Ospreay. The Young Bucks versus FTR in a ladder match.
The Young Bucks with the help of Jack Perry.
Yeah. Julia Hart versus Willow. Because Mercedes and Willow will
Yeah, Willow.
Adam Copeland, Edge. Eddie Kingston and Mark Briscoe versus the House of Black.
Team Cope, baby.
Yeah, the baby faces. Timeless Tony Storm versus Thunder Rosa. Tony Storm.
I want Tony Storm to win.
For the Continental Breakfast, Okada versus Pac.
Okada, yeah, I doubt they're taking it off him that quick.
For the International Championship, Roderick Strong versus Kyle O'Reilly. It's gonna be Roderick.
Yeah, Roddy.
Samoa Joe versus Swerve for the AEW title.
Oh!
Swerve.
I'm so worried about that.
Swerve.
I'm so worried about that match.
I think Swerve should win.
I think Swerve should win too, but I'm really nervous because I'm scared, and this is no tea because I love him, I'm scared they're going to bring Hangman back and he's going to screw Swerve. Because Hangman hasn't been around for a while.
He can stay on vacation for a bit.
He hasn't been around for a while. And a pay-per-view's coming up where Swerve is going for the World Championship, and Hangman's whole story was, you're never gonna have this.
And you know what match is probably gonna be fucking added? Because what name was not mentioned? Chris Jericho. It's gonna be Chris Jericho versus Hook, probably.
God fucking damn it!
I hope Hook fucking drops him on his fucking head.
Alright, before we get too crazy into this, I think we should just do our outro. I think we're good here. I think everything's fine, and we need to just get the fuck out of here. So, with that being said...
Fuck Chris Jericho.
Fuck Chris Jericho. Thank you guys so much for watching / listening to our podcast. I hope that my water bottle catch made it on.
How about you just fucking stick to the script here?
I don't even have a script. I'm just rambling off from my head.
I'll pee on the notes.
Okay. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you are interested in finding either of us, on our social media platforms... You could find me on TikTok if you forgot about it from the plug earlier in this episode. Well, boy howdy, here's another one. My TikTok is LungBucks. That is LUNG_BUCKS. Again, I talk about wrestling on there a lot. So, you'll see my face and my voice along with some wrestling content. If you want to find me on Instagram and Twitter, my handle is LungTar. That is LUNG_TAR. On both of them right now, I am on the Jack Perry Brain Rot. So there's a lot of Jack Perry going on my social medias right now. So if you don't want to see that, don't fucking follow me. If you do want to see that, follow me. I don't know. It'll probably change in like 2 weeks. But nonetheless, I love that man and I'm so happy for him. So that's all that my brain is able to think about. Dylan, if these people want to find you, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Danny Vallo. DANI_line Vallo VALO_line. And fuck Twitter. I just post random shit on Twitter. Who gives a fuck about Twitter?
You might eventually find Dylan on Twitter if you find me on Twitter.
Twitter's dumb.
So
Twitter's dumb. If you guys have any thoughts on if you guys want us to talk about something wrestling related that we don't really cover, or like you guys want us to like review something, tell us. We'll do it. We'll try to remember. If you have questions, you can Instagram. Well, you got plugged in. You got plugged the.
Oh, that's right. We have an Instagram for the podcast.
Yeah.
We also have an Instagram for the podcast, which is at Talkin Wrasslin Pod. That is TALKIN_WRASSLIN_POD. Feel free to comment on stuff or send us a message or something.
Or questions, whatever the fuck.
Questions, whatever. I don't really know. I run it. Hopefully I'll see it. Sometimes I'm really bad with Instagram, so I do my best, but, I try.
And spread the word.
Spread the word. Share this out to your friends, your families, your neighbors, your uncle that doesn't watch wrestling anymore because it's not a territory days, but maybe he'll enjoy some of our viewpoints, probably more so Dylan's, and share it all out to your elite girlies so they can love me and hate Dylan. With that being said, again, thank you guys so much for listening, watching, tuning in, whatever the fuck you want to say it. And I guess we're going to see you off in the next one.
Bye!
Goodbye!